sights to show you?
Hell yeah.
Welcome to the Horror Syndicate Discourse. And for some reason, every now and again, the camera has to be very close to me. I don't know why. It's not in my settings. Anyway, welcome to the show. It is Sunday night. This is, I think, only our second or third Discourse show on Sunday night. It feels like it's been like a long time since we've done the Discourse show. Of course, we do our Wednesday night show every Wednesday with Seth and myself, and tonight it will be just Seth and myself. And tonight we're talking about a movie called Odd Thomas. Good movie, kind of straddles the line of horror, but I put it on my list as a horror movie, and you should too. If you've not seen it, it is streaming on Amazon Prime currently. So without further ado, let's bring in Seth. This is one of his choices. Seth, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm tired. Yeah. It seems like every time we do the show anymore, I'm tired. I don't know. I need a new life or something. I don't know.
Well, it's called getting old, Ray.
Yeah. That's what it is. Never heard of this one. I saw Anton Yelchin and Willem Defoe in the cast and bought it for $3. You should watch it. It's a very good movie. You should watch it. It's a very good movie. Definitely watch it. It's a very good movie. I wonder if there's a theme. Hit the like button for us. Like, share, subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube. We are closing in on 1,300 likes, which isn't a lot, but it's more than we had a couple days ago. So all that stuff. It helps. Anytime you hit the like button, anytime you hit the share button. The subscribe button always helps, and you can alert or not alert. I don't really care, because we go live every Sunday at 8 and every Wednesday at 8 as of right now. So Seth, what did you do on your time off?
Then marathon in Smallville.
There we go. What season are you on now?
Season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah, about little close to halfway through it.
Let's see. Where would that? I'm trying to think what's going on at this. Has Lindsay come back or Whitney come back? Not Lindsay.
No, not yet.
Okay. So yeah, Odd Thomas is it's a fun movie. But before we get into Odd Thomas, come back on Wednesday as we are continuing our conversations on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Cool art that I found today. I thought that was nice. Seth's personal favorite because he is sequel Seth. I watched it today. I love the movie. Fun time, good time. Helena watched it for the first time. My daughter. Less than 40%. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter. Don't do Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Your brain is what matters, not other people's brains. Like what you like. So anyway, Seth. Odd Thomas is. I saw this back on. I think it was Netflix, and I thought it was Henry Cavill, like holding a baseball bat or something like that. Like here it is. He's holding an axe, but like if you kind of squint your eyes, it looks like Henry Cavill, doesn't it?
No, not at all. But
okay. So anyway, Seth, I'm gonna ask you to leave the show because you don't agree with me.
Okay, perfect.
No, I'm joking. But you know what time it is, right?
An asshole.
It's time for Seth to explain Odd Thomas. I don't think you're going to do it like an asshole, though, because you love this movie.
Not only because I love it, but also because I didn't really think about this ahead of time. I kind of forgot about the asshole segment.
It feels like it's been forever since we've done Discourse.
I know.
We took off for Father's Day, and I feel like we were off the week before that too, because were we? The last show we did, I think, it was Autopsy of Jane Doe, and that seems like it was forever ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So, Odd Thomas is about a fry cook named Odd. That's his actual name because of an error on his birth certificate. And he sees dead people. They can't speak, but he basically goes around and solves their murders or whatever. And he learns about this supernatural entity he knows about the supernatural entity that he calls Bodox, who only show up when big major things are happening. And when a bunch of Bodox show up in his town, he sets on a quest to try to prevent whatever mass murder is going to happen.
Yeah. And that's the best way to say it. And he's got support from the police with Willem Defoe as the police chief, I guess, and his girlfriend Stormy, who is played by a beautiful woman named Addison Tomlin, I believe is her name. I mean, holy Christ, look at her. There's kind of an assorted cast of characters in this movie. But on top of all this is based off of Dean Koontz novels, right? How many of those are there?
There's like 7 or 8 novels. Yeah, this is based on the first one, and it's actually fairly close to the book. Minor changes here and there, but it's fairly
Would
close.
you call this a ghost movie? It's way more to it.
I mean, it's got ghosts in it, but like you said, there's way more to it. It's definitely more of
just a supernatural
thriller.
Yeah,
there's like a mystery that's kind of unfolding.
Definitely a mystery. Yeah. It's got besides that, it's just a fun movie in general. My 9-year-old daughter just asked me, "Is there a part 2 after we finished part 1?" And she said it kept her she said my anxiety was really high throughout the whole movie. Basically, she was on the edge of her seat trying to figure out what was going on, which is good because there is a great mystery. There is a kind of a great twist to the movie. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I'd probably go ahead and bounce right now because we're going to get into some spoiler territory at some point, I'm sure, because it's been out for 10 years. So spoiler warning is, ever present. But there's a lot to this movie. There's demonic forces. There's a gateway to hell. There's ghosts. There's baddies. The movie picks up with it kind of just throws you right into it. You see Odd Thomas walking with this girl. Was it Grace? Something like that? Penny. Yeah. It came to me right after I said Grace. I don't know why I said Grace. Amazing Grace, come sit on my face. But anyway, he's kind of explaining himself, his name and, his origins and all that while walking with this girl, and you have no idea what's going on with the girl. Turns out she's pointing in the direction of her killer, and it, takes off. But my favorite thing is he turns the guy's car off immediately because he stops him in his, I think it's a Mustang, with no top, and there's a great foot chase. And he gets tackled to the pool, which I love that. It was a good opening to the movie, and you kind of get the feel of what he's doing from that, which I think this would make an incredible television series versus movies.
They should definitely do that because I love all the books. The stories are great, and with the way the series ends, it comes full circle, and it just ends, I think, on a really great note. Tying everything all together and just really solid thing. And I again, I love all the books. I mean, the 4th book is, I think, one of my favorites, and it would make a great series. Yeah, definitely.
6-episode series. I don't know what studio produced this anyway.
I'm not sure. I know that there was, this movie was shot a few years before it was actually released, and there was some sort of legal issue that held it back from ever getting released for a couple of years.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I can't remember the specifics of it, but yeah. And it sucks too because Anton is, if you read the books, Anton is the perfect person to play Odd.
Which is extremely unfortunate because he passed away within a year, I think, of its release. I think it was 2014, 2015, 2016 maybe. He's such a fun actor. I liked him, and we just did a movie of his called Green Room.
Yep.
And every time I watch this guy act, it's just such a waste of talent. And it wasn't wasted because he was on some dumb drug or crazy alcoholic. He got crushed by his fucking car, right?
Yeah.
Weird thing, Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie ranks up there with his best movies that I've seen. He played young Kyle Reese in Terminator Salvation. He was in a movie called Burying the X. If you haven't seen that, I watched that today too. It was a lot of fun. Have you seen that one?
No.
So it's fun. So he's got this overbearing girlfriend who's like all about green energy and stuff like that. And he goes to break up with her, and she runs across the street, gets hit by a bus, and dies. and he works for this this horror shop essentially that sells like Halloween type items, and somehow she gets brought back to life a few months later. And after he meets the gorgeous Alexandra Daddario, it's she comes back as a zombie. It's actually pretty funny. It's a good horror movie, good comedy, horror comedy. So check it out if you have not seen Burying yet. Yeah, I like it. He was a good actor. Will you look for the YouTube trailer? Will I look for it?
I think she's saying she will.
Oh yeah, okay. We'll look for. Okay. I didn't know he died. Yeah, he died. I think I'm looking it up now. But I think it was 20. I want to say it was 2015, 14, somewhere around there. It was 16. It was actually 7 years ago last week. And he's oh my god, he's buried in Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which plays a big role in Burying the X. Oh man, what a shame. Anyway, I always liked him from the first thing I saw him in. Anyway, this movie really cemented my feeling for the actor. He was really good as and I have no basis of like you did with the books or anything like that. It felt effortless the way he acted in this movie. Yeah. So anyway, we get a great performance from Willem Defoe in this movie. I really liked his character quite a bit. He believed Odd, and that's his name. Odd Thomas is his actual name. His mother said it was supposed to be Todd, but there was a problem. But his dad always said it was supposed to be Odd.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that. There's a lot of fun with this, and Stormy's got a weird name. It's like Brownwyn, right? Something like that.
Llewellyn.
Bronwyn Llewellyn. No, her first name.
Yeah.
Is actually,
Oh yeah.
What a weird name.
Yeah.
But he's a short order cook making flapjacks and good looking egg omelet things and stuff. And the thing I like about this is they really set up the characters so you really like them, and all of them are likable as far as Stormy goes, and Odd Thomas, and the chief, Willem Dafoe's character's name. I can never remember.
I'm drawing a blank on it too.
You drawing a blank? I thought you would know. Wyatt. Should have known Wyatt.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so anyway. What do you want to say about this movie? You love this movie. Tell us what you like about it. What other than the fact that it's based off the book series that you hold very dear.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's very close to the book, so I appreciate the fact that it stayed fairly faithful. Obviously, there were big changes here and there, but I just overall really like the story, and I like the way it unfolds, and I think that the third act is incredible. Everything that takes place in the mall. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. And yeah, it's got good characters, good acting. I'm not crazy about a lot of the CGI in it, but
yeah, like the Bodex kind of rough.
Yeah. But it's not not a bad movie at all. And it's from Stephen Sommers, who did The Mummy and Deep Rising.
Which there's a great scene in the movie that is like a Easter egg with Arnold Vosloo
Yeah,
playing one of the ghosts. He said, I guess ghosts can just hang out in this world, right?
yeah,
And so he's hanging out at this tire store or something like that. And before he died, he lost his arm. Or when he died, he lost his arm. So he's an armless guy, and he keeps like scratching his balls or something like that. It's
yeah,
just silly stuff. And that's the only time you see him. He's a guy like Arnold Vosloo. I guess it's just because
yeah.
yeah. It's I did like that part. But yeah, you're right. Going back to the CG was. Let's talk. The Bodocs are really cool looking, and I like the idea. Can you explain them a little bit? Let me see if I thought I had a picture of them.
Yeah, well, the Bodocs are just
Here he is.
they swarm to a place where there's going to be a massive body count, and that's his indication throughout the books of when something big is going to happen or not. And the idea too is if they know that you can see them, they'll orchestrate stuff to kill you, and they demonstrate that with someone who Odd knew, who opened up about them, and they took him out. And so that's another thing too, is he's trying to figure out this mystery while trying to avoid the Bodocs. And yeah,
and the mystery starts with them kind of one coming into his restaurant he's working in, and the whole idea is if you can see them and you make it known that you can see them, they'll kill you. And so he's got to kind of like pretend he doesn't see them or even react to what's going on, because one of them like licks Stormy's face or something like that. And then more and more start coming in, especially whenever you get into this guy. What does he call? What do they call him?
Fungus Bob or something like that.
Fungus Bob. Yeah. He like first of all, his hair is amazing. Who dyes the back of their hair blonde? Like so strange looking. But when he comes into the restaurant, they kind of swarm around him, and you kind of start to feel it. And even Thomas starts feeling that something bad's going to happen. It has to do with this fella here. And so throughout the first act of the movie, it kind of revolves around him, where Thomas goes and checks out his place. That's where he finds the portal to hell, which is really cool the way they did it, because everything got really cold in the room. And I think didn't he stick his hand in there or something like that?
Yeah. And then there's also this whole ordeal with bad dreams about a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
getting shot wearing they're basically bowling alley employees. And then a friend of his mentions that she had a dream about them, and she saw her own face, which is an indication that you're gonna die. So there's that extra urgency in there as well, because his friend is
Olivia or Viola.
Yeah, and she's raising 2 kids on her own, and
I think
she could potentially be at the place where the great violence would happen.
Yeah, and one of the things I like about that whole dream sequence is you can't see anybody's face in the dream. There's a set of rules, like the dead can't talk, and I guess in dreams you can't see faces, which I think that's pretty accurate to most dreams, though. I was trying to, when I was watching it today, my daughter asked me, I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing faces in my dreams. I can sense presence, but I don't remember faces. So pretty cool little detail they added into the movie. I'm guessing it's part of the book as well.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
So so you've got all this set up. There's something huge going to happen, and Odd's kind of a detective throughout the movie, which is really great. He's got his little sidekick, which is his girlfriend Stormy, and she, if you've not seen Californication, she's in, I think, season 5, and you see her boobs, so that's good. and she's also in the 2014 The Town That Dreaded Sundown meta sequel prequel something or other remake something, I don't know what to call it. And she's really good in that as well. She's the lead in that. So yeah, and plus their chemistry is really good in this movie. I think the chemistry for most of the cast is really good. Willem Defoe is fantastic because this all takes place within a day or so, maybe 36 hours, and he's very excited about date night, and he keeps getting interrupted by during date night. And I love the scene when he's in bed and talking to, because I guess they were at the church at that point, and and his girlfriend, wife, whatever she is, starts laughing at him, and he has to put the pillow over her face. I thought that was really good. That's funny. That reminds me of kind of similar situations that's happened to me. So, seen Odd Thomas? It's a good one. I would definitely suggest it. I don't want to. I feel like I don't want to spoil it because almost nobody's seen the movie that that's watching, and it's easy to spoil and go into our favorite things because like when my daughter asked me, she's like, "What's this about?" And I told her, and she's like, "Is it a scary movie? Is it a funny movie?" I was like, "It's got a little bit of everything." And she's like, "Is it sad?" I was like, "Yeah, there's some sad stuff in it for sure." And I mean, it's just got a little bit of everything. I think if you haven't seen it, you got to give it a shot. Seth loves it.
I agree.
I mean, Seth is a man of many words today.
Two things.
I don't know. Like, I really don't want to spoil this because everybody's watching has not seen it.
Yeah.
I
guess we could be vague.
I don't like being vague though. We tried that with Hellraiser last year when that Hellraiser sequel or whatever the hell it was remake came out. And we had so much trouble. We were getting frustrated. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think maybe with this episode, we'll cut it short and just tell you what we think of it, and go see it. It's definitely worth seeing there. Now we did put up the rating, the 5-star rating on the Horror Syndicate's Facebook page today, and that should have been a telltale. Usually, with a newer film, we get 2, 3, 4, 500 reactions right away. This is struggling to get to 100, so it makes me I don't think it's a very well-known movie, and then the ones who do know it seem to really like it. I don't remember seeing too many negative comments on it, or if any at all. Let me look up. I'll double check. What are some of your favorite things about this movie?
Definitely the casting, and definitely I think the third act is just really exciting. I know I mentioned that before, but I know we're trying to avoid spoilers, I guess, but it was just a really cool sequence. It was shot really well. Like the one part where Odd is running, he's trying to get to a certain somebody, and the Bodaks are kind of like holding him back.
All right, so I'm going to read some of the comments here. There's not many, but here, this is what you get. Never saw it, but I enjoy the book. I really enjoy the first book. The movie did a fair job. Sad about Yelchin. He had a really great role in his short career. I'll go 3 stars, a 3.5. I'm disappointed they couldn't keep making them 5 stars. Me too. Love this film. I can imagine I'll always go back to it. Loved it. Wish it had become a franchise. 5 stars. Yelchin was amazing. The perfect Odd. That's from Jolene Lemon, who was in here earlier watching with us. She might be the only one who, there you are. Just read your comment. It's not really thrilling or even memorable, but it's decent one-time watch. Points for originality anyway, 3 stars. That's Loda Moreau. Has its problems, but it's much better than you'd expect. The only problems I think it has, in my opinion, I think the twist was a little foreshadowing. And I think that, like you said, the CG, this one really surprised me. I gave it 3. You never could have casted a better odd, but they left out a lot of his inner monologue. Well, he had a lot of inner monologue in the movie anyway. I'm not going to read the rest. That's too long. Yeah, but there's only maybe 1 or 2 bad comments of the 20 plus that we have here. Yeah, it's okay. And this is from Pekka Paholan Pirahoinen. Top fan. Thank you. From Curava. Anyway, yeah, so if I were to give it any issues, that would be one of my issues. Like there's this scene actually. I don't want to give it away, but Seth, you'll know what I'm talking about. This scene here, they meet a cop.
Yeah.
The cop has a tattoo. And
Yeah.
the first time I saw it, I was like, I know what that means. Like right away, I'm like, oh, that it was kind of a dead giveaway to me. And it just I wish I would have said I hate that whenever I figure something out before the twist
Yeah.
comes, my wife would always be pissed at me. She's like, why can't you just keep that shit to yourself? I'm like, sorry, bro.
I mean, that was, I think that scene was pretty much almost verbatim from the book.
Well, I've never read the books, but I think I have somebody who wants to now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So Helena's like, I told her it's based on a book series, and she's like, "Oh, can we get them?" I'm like, "Fine." No, I'm gonna see if I can get my hands on some copies of them for her because I think she'd probably enjoy them. She really liked the movie. It's a good movie overall. It's a nice, fun Sunday movie.
Yeah.
So,
What did you think? What did you think of the score for it?
No, he wasn't a cop. That guy wasn't a cop. Fungus Bob was not a cop. Um, I almost didn't notice the score, honestly.
Okay, because I thought that's one of the areas where I thought they could have probably done a little bit better. I didn't really like the kind of some of the theme. Like some of the music is really good, but like the main theme that starts off the movie, the I don't know, I guess guitar riffs or whatever. I just didn't care for them.
Yeah, it was. It's when I don't like even notice it. That means I don't really care for it generally. I'll be right back.
Yep. And another issue too, I don't quite care for the editing of it. There's something about it that's just it almost kind of seems too flashy. But other than that, I mean, besides some of the CG effects being not great, but they're not god awful. They're not super terrible. I've seen way worse as far as effects go. The score and the editing, everything else I really like about it, and I think it. Sorry to keep bringing up the books, but as far as the casting goes, they did a phenomenal job casting nearly every character, and Anton was perfect for that role. And it sucks because like when I read all the sequel books, I kept like envisioning Anton as I was reading them. He was just perfect for that role. And Willem Defoe was great. The chick that plays Stormy is great.
I hope you guys couldn't hear me. Could you hear me out there?
Some sort of yelling.
Yeah, I was yelling.
Yeah.
Kids. He's getting mad at a video game and hitting the fucking arms of the chair. It's like, dude, grow up. Stop it. You're 14. Anyway.
I too have anger issues.
Well, I do too, but shit, man. I don't try to hurt myself by hitting stuff,
Yeah.
I learned my lesson. Yeah,
Dude, my girls like broke one of my remotes, and I was pretty mad because they got in a fight with each other because they're petty. They fight over dumb shit.
Well, kids are petty.
Yeah.
I cleaned out this area for him to have his video games downstairs, and anyway, there's this big open area, and my daughter wants to play there, and he's like throwing a fit about it. It's like, dude, your
Yeah.
back's to her. Shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that, everyone, if you heard me.
It was
I
barely
have to
heard.
go
I
back
was
out there in a
talking
second.
too. So.
Huh?
I said it was barely noticeable, and I was talking the entire
Okay.
time.
We'll keep talking. I'll be right back.
Oh, great.
Sorry.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend this to people. I think even if, I mean, hypothetically speaking, if Anton was still alive, there probably still would be no sequel because there was a legal issue that held it from getting released for many years, and then when it finally was released, it was like straight to like video or maybe even Netflix, something like that. So it wasn't like I don't think it was financially successful to justify a sequel, but I definitely agree with Ray's idea earlier of they should do this as a TV series.
I'll be right. I'm sorry. I have to go for a minute. Okay. I'm
Yep.
having some issues.
Okay. So, yeah. Let's see. Once seeing the movie, I think it's hard to not read the books. Imagine him. Yeah, totally. And I tried it with the last because I have all the books, but then I also have the audiobooks for work. And I tried like last time I put them on. I was like trying to imagine another actor in the role to kind of get used to the idea, but I don't know. Don't know what else to say about this solo. I hope you guys, whoever watching this, who haven't seen the movie, gives it a shot. I'm not sure where it's available. I'll try to remember to ask Ray when he gets back if he could look it up to see where it is available to watch. You know, I don't think it'll ever be someone's like favorite horror movie of all time or whatever, but I think it's definitely really good. So let's see here. How many books are there? Let's see here. There's Odd Thomas, Forever Odd, Brother Odd, Odd Hours, Odd Interlude, Odd Apocalypse, Saint Odd. I feel like I'm missing one, but so far I just named 7. Yeah. And they're good too. They're all, written from they're all from Odd's perspective, and he's a character with a personality, I think, and they're a good read for sure. Prime Video, thank you, Jolene. I got the I had the DVD for a while, and then I eventually upgraded to Blu-ray on it. I can't stream, so I'll look for the DVD or Blu-ray. Wow, there's a lot. Yeah, I think the DVD or Blu-ray, I don't think they go for much, if anything. I'm pretty sure I got my Blu-ray maybe a year or two ago, and it didn't cost much. Yeah, so definitely give it a shot. So does anyone have any questions for me while I wait for Ray to get back? One, I'm not very good at doing this stuff solo. Then, of course, I've got some tooth pain. So that's why I'm kind of struggling to speak. This comment. The books on Amazon. Yes, they are. I got the. I don't know if it's still available, but I got the complete collection of them. Unfortunately, they weren't in a box or anything. They were just kind of like wrapped together. But yeah, I think they're definitely worth checking out. It's a good series. There is, they're mostly like, for the most part, they're individual stories, but there's a lot of like connecting threads, and everything does get tied together by the end. Best horror sequel of all time. Oh, that's a good one. Maybe. I mean, Bride of Frankenstein is up there. I think that's a really great sequel. I do have a couple of issues with it now, but I think that's a really great sequel. I know there's a debate about Aliens. Some people don't consider it to be a horror movie, but it is a sequel to a horror movie, and I think it's a great story and with lots of great action and great score to it. So I would say Aliens is up there. Personally, Hellraiser 2 is one of my favorites. Evil Dead 2. There's a lot of great horror sequels, for sure. What is your favorite, Austin? Have you done Masters of Horror? No, we haven't. I would like to get Ray to watch Cigarette Burns, John Carpenter's Masters of Horror episode, because that's one of my favorites, and I haven't seen all of them. There's a couple that I have on DVD. I have the Stuart Gordon one. I forgot what it was called. And then there was one from Don Coscarelli. It's like Incident on and Off of Mountain Road. That was pretty cool. And there's another one that I own, but I definitely want to check them out. But Cigarette Burns is going to be hard to top. Bride is a classic. Yes, it is. The stories are excellent. The box set is worth owning. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I gotta get that actually. Was it? You don't have to tell me how much you paid for it, but was it expensive? And how many stories are in the first season? Is it 10? Let me know. Tough question. Halloween 2. Yes, I absolutely love Halloween 2. I think it's a great sequel. And I'm a sucker for like sequels like that, like Bride of Frankenstein or even Hellraiser 2, where it's like they like immediately pick up where the last movie left off. And Halloween 2 is one of my favorites for that. Definitely. Oh, look, Ray's back. Good.
Sorry. All right, what are we doing?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Well, I don't know. You were sorry to leave you alone. I had to go do something.
I was rambling, answering some questions. Austin asked what the best horror sequel is of all time. So we were kind of going through that.
What'd you say?
I just I copped out and I just named every horror sequel ever.
Yeah, we're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 next week on Wednesday for our Wednesday show. Hopefully I won't get interrupted by my son throwing a baby fit. Yeah, I don't really have much else to talk about with Thomas. I'm pretty angry right now. So sad ending. I will say, if you didn't do this, the people who did rate it gave it a 79%. I'm not sure how I feel about that score.
I have to go vote on it. Wasn't really on my phone much last couple of days.
I don't know if this is a bad score or I don't know. It's a middle of the pack score, but there's a lot of people who haven't seen it. Otherwise, we would probably have a lot more people rate it. We didn't even get to 100.
I think, to be honest with you, I think like probably like an 80% would be kind of fair.
So the 79 is fair then, because it's 1% lower.
I mean, like anywhere between like 80, 85%, because it's not a perfect movie by any means.
No,
And
it does have some issues. I I I always felt like the issues were forgivable because the story's good and the acting is good.
oh, totally. I
The
just don't
characters.
expect it to ever be someone like make someone's like top 10 list or something like that. You know what I mean?
It's
It's
in my top 10 list of Anton Yelchin movies. I think
I give up.
79 is pretty good overall. When you get down to it, that means it's a 4-star movie, 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah,
So I think that's pretty decent score.
yeah,
It's not like the Conjuring movies, which are 95% scores apparently. I can't win with that,
bullshit.
by the way. I redid The Conjuring, and it got away from me. And it just the thing is, when I do the redos, anybody who does watch this is because they get shared in the Philippines and I think another country out that way, Indonesia, and they all give everything 5 stars, and that's breaking the system essentially. So there's movies that I have to redo. Like I don't think I'm going to redo Train to Busan because it had 236,000 rates, but I do think the score came out to be, which I think was 94, is pretty fair for that movie.
That's totally fair for that movie.
Yeah, so like
Yeah,
I can't blame them, but movies like The Conjuring, like where I think The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2 are fair movies, but I don't think they belong in the top 25 upper echelon horror films. Same thing with the Resident Evil movies. Get the fuck out of here if you think any of those are a 90 or above. They're
yeah, yeah.
they're not even 80 or above.
I,
I like them. I'm not saying I don't like the Resident Evil movies. They're dumb, fun, basically. Um, but they're not. Yeah, so I have to redo the first three. I think.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, the Resident Evil movies definitely not. I'm not a big fan of the Conjuring movies, but I do understand there is a lot of people that do love those movies.
they belong in the 80s. I think. I think that's fair. If any, the Annabelle movies do not belong in the 90s. Not even close. And all three of them were in the fucking 90s. It's like, come on, man. Like I want to redo these. It's bad enough that we're scraping the bottom of the barrel with the Puppet Master movies. There's still two we haven't done.
Of Puppet
There's,
Master.
I guess, the Blade spin-off movie, which I don't understand why that's a thing. And then I guess I'll have to watch it. And then there's one more that came out last year, I guess. Um, I just don't have the energy to put those on the page. It's like we got through 12 or 13 movies, and it's like, God damn, how many more Puppet Master movies are there? You
So,
know,
like, the funny thing is, like, my parents love those movies, but I could never get into them. Like,
I
I
like
watched
them.
I watched the first one, and it just wasn't for me. So I just
I like the second one quite a bit. I don't know. Full Moon's got a bizarre catalog of movies. The subspecies movies are good. I think for the most part, the Puppet Master movies aren't bad. People were like, "Hey, do Evil Bong next." I think I'm gonna pass on Evil Bong.
passed the bong.
Yeah, pass the Bong. Evil Dead. I mean, not Evil Dead. Demonic Toys. We did one of those. There was Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. There's Doll Man versus Demonic Toys. There's all kinds of weird shit. I like when I was 12, 13 years old, I let all that sink in because they showed all those full moon movies on USA Up All Night. And so I watched every one of them. Like, I lost track of the Puppet Master movies once they got to the 2000s, though. So I only saw the first 5 or 6. But I liked them for what they were. I knew they weren't like great cinema, you know.
Yeah,
And
I
I
just
think that's a problem people have is they expect great cinema when they go in to see something like Sean said he's going to tear apart Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Why?
I mean, I don't expect great cinema when I watch a full moon movie, but there's just something about them I just couldn't get into. And this
They're
is back,
weird.
like, and this is like back when I saw them when I was probably at my dumbest and with the stuff I
You're
like, like
dumbest.
at my dumbest,
That's
where
funny.
I liked pretty much everything, and I thought everything was a riot, but even back then I couldn't get into him. No.
Maybe he's talking about Sean. Maybe so that key scene where Kevin Costner drinks his own piss. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody likes something different, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I don't know why, like, somebody would hate Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 so much. Like, it's not the greatest movie ever made by any stretch of the imagination. But it's fun. I mean, if you don't find fun in Bill Moseley's performance as Chop Top, I think you might be a little too serious with your life. Because he's hilarious, and then all the stuff in the caves, Bubba's got a girlfriend, all that. It's just whacked out of its own mind, and I love every second of that movie. My daughter has only seen the first one, loved it. She thought it was hilarious, and that's kind of what it is. It's not to be taken seriously. I don't think any horror movie should be taken seriously, really.
Well, with TCM 2, like when I first watched it, I did not think very highly of it because of the direction it went. It was so unlike TCM, and so it took like a couple times for me to like really appreciate it. Now it's to the point where it's like my favorite one in the series because of how fucking crazy it is. But yeah.
Well, Sean also likes the remake better than the original. That makes me sad. Dude, I detest the original. The remake. It's terrible. I know it makes me sound bad when I say it's just basically how can we light and shoot Jessica Biel's body to make her look as sexy as possible, which is great because she does look sexy in that movie, but that's what the movie is. It's so yellow. Why has it got to be so yellow?
It is from the same cinematographer as the original.
He lost a step or two in 30 years. Because, I mean, I think he was obsessed with her body or something. Because I don't know. I just never had the third movie. Sex is well, no one knows, but Saw's family. Yeah, so that's coming on Wednesday. Anybody who likes the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 or wants to debate on how bad it is, I guess. I love the one. Everybody seems to like that, but me. Everybody seems to like that movie. I saw it in the cinema, and I was pissed when I left that movie. I was so unhappy. I'm like, what did they do to this franchise? And I was walking out saying Matthew McConaughey's movie was better.
I saw it a couple of times in the theaters. I enjoyed it.
I did see it twice because I was like, my girlfriend at the time was like, maybe you'll like it the second time. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Let me go give them more money. And I didn't like it. I actually disliked it even more. And then something in my brain, I think they came out with a new edition of the original film on DVD, and they had a combo at Best Buy where if you buy this special edition fold out into a chainsaw DVD of the remake and then the new DVD of the original movie, you got that original one for free. So I bought that fold out limited edition, whatever, for $25, and then finding out later that the price of the original was only $5. I was like, fuck. I could have just bought the $5 one instead of thinking, oh, it's free.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever. Cop steals the shoes. I do like the beginning though. I think that one's we did a whole episode on Next Generation. Actually, we did a commentary, didn't we?
I think
we
so.
did on the Next Generation. Yeah, it's batshit crazy. I saw it on cable one night. Missed the beginning, so I got it about 15 minutes in. Had no clue it was a chainsaw movie until you see Leatherface. And Matthew McConaughey, I'm like, oh my god, he's nuts in this movie. I love it. Vilmer, I think was his name, something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So just so everybody knows, we're going to talk about two, and it's solo episode next week on Wednesday, and then we're going to do. I think we're doing three solo by itself, right?
Yeah.
And then the remake and the beginning together in one episode, and then nope, that's not right. Yeah, I guess we are because we're going to do the 2022 separate also, and then the Texas
I
Chainsaw
thought we were
3D.
gonna double up on like.
It'd have to be three in Leatherface then. I mean, three in 2022.
No, we were gonna double up on Next Generation and
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. In 2022, yeah. I was going to leave that one out completely. The Next Generation.
we gotta talk about
yeah.
that.
So we're doing 5 more episodes on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. Then we'll do a ranking show, 5 or 6 weeks from Wednesday. So it'll be a lot of fun. And honestly, I can't tell you what number one's going to be because Seth is the wild card here, who gave the first movie. I think I still have. I don't remember if I kept them or not on here, because they were still on here earlier. No, they're gone. But he gave 81%, I believe, for the original movie, and I know he's going to give the second movie a higher score, which is going to boost my score for our total score, and that's going to fuck everything up. Sequel Seth. And then in next week on this show, on our Sunday night show, we will be talking about The Howling, a great werewolf movie, possibly the second best werewolf movie of all time. Depends on your train of thought. Mine says yes. Some people say a dumb movie called Dog Soldiers. This is probably why people hate me. So I'm such a bad host because I don't like things. We've never done Underworld. That's unlikely of a topic we'll ever get to. There's with Discourse, we absolutely will not do Underworld. I guarantee this show we will never do Underworld. With the other show, maybe 2027 if we get to go that long. And we've got so many different things lined up, and the way we're going, it's like all of 2024 is already taken up basically. I think we've got shows lined up into 2025, and Underworld's not one of them. And honestly, I don't think I could hold a conversation unless we do one episode for the Underworld series. That's the only way I could do it, because the Underworld movies are kind of just soulless turds of movies. They're not that great.
I like them. I do have
I didn't like them.
I do have an article on the Horror Syndicate website where I ranked all of the Underworld movies, and I talk about what I like.
I like them just fine. There's something missing completely in that first movie. They're so edgy, and some of the characters, they just hired some of the worst actors of all time, I think.
Well, the problem with the first movie, it was really off. Like, it was really trying to lean towards like the Matrix type style, right down to the score, and I felt like they found their footing with the second movie a little bit, where it wasn't quite as much Matrix as it was a creature feature. And the second movie, I think, is the best in the series. But yeah, I mean, Scott Speedman is kind of derpy throughout the first.
The guy, Lucian, I think is his name. No, not him. The vampire leader guy is kind of a scumbag.
Victor, I liked him though.
Not Victor. No. He's got black hair.
Oh, that douche nugget.
He is a terrible actor. Everything about him is bad.
Yeah. And
he takes a lot away from that movie. And some of the I don't know, it's just something about that movie. I liked all of them, especially the second and third ones.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that first movie, the trailers were way better than the movie, in my opinion.
The trailers were epic. They had like the score from Bram Stoker's Dracula playing over it, like building up, It's cool. But I love Lucian. I think he's one of my favorite characters in that entire franchise.
The werewolf, yeah, that's Lucian.
Yeah.
So maybe one day we'll do a whole episode where we do a ranking episode of the Underworld movies. But I don't think we'll do like 6 episodes on those movies because I don't think I could do it. Honestly, they're okay at best. I like them, but I mean, in the grand scheme of horror, they're barely horror movies in my opinion. You just have the tropes of the horror movies, just like Thomas, kind of. Um,
Yeah.
2025. I mean, if you think about it, Sean, there's so many horror franchises out there that have 7 to 10 movies. Halloween has 13, and you know, we still haven't done Chucky. We still haven't done Evil Dead. You know, there's so many, and Evil Dead may have another movie by the time we get to that series. With fingers crossed. We just it took us how long did it take us to get through Friday the 13th and Elm Street?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like we were on those for most of the year. We took a break for Scream, and we lost a viewer.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, we sat here after one of our shows for quite a while,
Just
just
a
being
couple
like,
hours.
yeah, just being like, okay, and just going through like throwing out titles and just listing them for when we're gonna do them.
Mm-hmm. Romero's zombie movies. That was another thing we need to do.
Yeah.
There's so many, and there's only. I mean, if you think about it, there's 52 weeks in a year, and we have to do. We've been doing each movie in the series plus a ranking show. So what are there 9 Child's Play movies now? That's 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's a fifth of the year. It's 20% of the year right there on one movie series. Between Elm Street and Friday the 13th, there are 20 movies, and so right there, that's almost half the year. So we got Hellraiser is another one we're gonna do. That's 10 movies. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it by week, not movie, or by series or whatever, it really adds up. Exorcist movies, there's 5 of those. There'll be 7. By the time we get to the Exorcist, there may be 8 movies at that point because of David Gordon Green's trilogy. The first one comes out this October, and I think they're coming out each year after, right?
I don't care. Like I saw, like I was like kind of excited because it's not going to be a remake, it's going to be a sequel. But
Yeah.
then I saw the name of the screenwriter attached to it.
Who is that?
Scott Teems, who not only co-wrote Halloween Kills, but also the brand new Firestarter, which was.
So you gotta you know that he's David Gordon Green's gonna use people he works with already. Final Destination might be unlikely. I don't know how you feel about those, but I don't really care about those movies at all. I never liked them. We're not gonna do the Wrong Turn movies probably either. If we do, we'll do a full ranking episode where we talk about all of them. I will say one thing about the Wrong Turn series. Every one of them I've seen suck except for the remake. So, because the remake shouldn't be a Wrong Turn movie. And that's where they took the Wrong Turn.
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, the remake wasn't even a remake. It was like a entirely different story. Like it should have been called The Foundation and marketed as from the creator of Wrong Turn because that's what it was. And I think by calling it Wrong Turn, it just kind of damaged itself in the process because you have the Wrong Turn fans who hated it because it doesn't have it doesn't have what you expect from a Wrong Turn movie in it, and it's a completely different story. Where if it was just released as its own original movie, I think it probably would have had stronger footing from the get-go.
It's a good movie. It's not anything like any of the Wrong Turn movies. The closest thing to a Wrong Turn movie is these people are in the forest being hunted down, essentially. But there's way more to it than that. It's way better than like we did the ratings, the 5-star rating, and it got like a 29%. I'm like, you motherfuckers don't understand what this movie is. You watch the movie and understand that this is not a real remake. It was just marketed that way to make more money. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I think that goes down to people expected traditional Wrong Turn stuff.
Look
and
at this. Look at this. This SOB over here. Yeah, I like the first Wrong Turn. I actually saw it in the theater. I think the rest are shitty.
I like I like part 3 a little bit. It's corny. It's corny as fuck, but
it is, and 2 really kind of turned me off to the rest of the series. I'm like, this is not going to be something to take serious.
yeah.
I haven't. I don't think I've ever seen Rest Stop. But yeah, we got a lot in the barrel that we're planning on doing. Up after Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we've got the Halloween series in reverse. So we're going to start with the David Gordon Green trilogy, and then Rob Zombie, and then of course Halloween Resurrection, the brilliant movie that is with H2O on the same episode, and then hopefully we'll get into Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. Speaking of, right around Halloween. Actually, what day does Halloween fall on this year?
Good question. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either, because I won't be able to do a show on Halloween if if it's on Halloween. No, it's a Tuesday. Okay, so that's okay. Yeah, so a lot of stuff going on. Vacancy, I think I've seen that. Is that the one with John Cusack?
No, that's Identity.
Identity.
Identity is
one word
fantastic.
titles sometimes from the mid 2000s. They all kind of bleed together for me.
I think Vacancy was with Luke Wilson, if I remember correctly.
I like Luke Wilson, if that's in fact who's in it. But we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna do November. We're gonna do Phantasm into December, and then we'll do a couple of Krampus, I think, or a couple Christmas movies for December, and then starting the new year off, I think we're doing Hellraiser, right?
Yes.
Yes. So starting with 2024, this is not the right show, but Horror Movie Massacre will be doing Hellraiser. This show, on the other hand, the titles that we've got coming up, so I should talk about this show, because it's Discourse.
Well, it's funny because I forgot that this is actually Discourse.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just me and you again. So in October, we're going to be doing Hammer Horror, because we love Hammer Horror, and Nate's been wanting to dive back into that. So we've got The Mummy, The Horror of Dracula, The Curse of the Werewolf, and The Curse of Frankenstein.
Excellent.
And the end out, because we've got 5 weeks of availability in October, we're going to do a movie called The Devil Rides Out, which I love. I know we're not going to do Jack Frost. That movie is just a big piece of shit. Dust Devil, Dirt Devil. And then in September, we're dedicating that month to, what's his name? Tim Burton. We're going to be doing Sleepy Hollow, Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, and Beetlejuice. And then August, we've got movies like Aliens, Predator, Alien 3, and Prey. So kind of got a theme going there. And then in July, we're going to be doing The Howling. I think I have to push Poltergeist back, but The Invisible Man from 2020, Saint Maud, I believe, and The Mist, along with The Howling again. So we got a lot of stuff on Discourse coming up. It's going to be a good time, and I've got stuff planned for December. Deep Red, Dario Argento's masterpiece, or as Jared would call it, Profundo Rosso. Nathan Thomas Milner, our co-host, talked about this movie as his favorite from 2020, I think, or 2021, The Queen of Black Magic, which is on Shudder. The Amityville Horror from 1979 is my request for December. Insidious in November, the original Insidious. Salem's Lot, the miniseries in November. And I believe Let the Right One In also in November. We've got a lot planned. I've had to change things around a little bit. So going into the next year, we've got movies like Mayhem, Lake Phases, another good werewolf movie. We're going to try to get a werewolf movie in every month or so for Seth, because it's in his contract now that we talk about werewolves more than we do. So maybe we did an American Werewolf in London. We've done Bad Moon, and I think that might be it for werewolf movies. Silver Bullet.
Yep.
So anyway, stay tuned for the Horror Syndicate Discourse. We've got a lot of stuff planned on this show. We've got a lot of stuff planned on the Horror Movie Massacre. No, there's only 8 Howling movies, I think.
It's only 8.
Yeah. That's another franchise we're probably gonna get into at some point. Cursed is another one we probably talk about. If not on that show, or not on this course, we'll talk about it in the other show. What's this one say? We should do a show and tell sometime. I think I got y'all beat. In what? I'm confused. All those are great. Haven't seen The Howling. Oh, The Wicker Man's also on the schedule. The Christopher Lee film. Dog Soldiers. Fuck out of here with that. Dog Soldiers.
Hey man, I love Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, I think Dog Soldiers is shit. And I don't own it, and I don't think I ever will. I didn't like it. Any good werewolf movie should have a transformation scene. Period. Am I wrong?
It should, but I think it works for this one where they were already werewolves and
They need a transformation scene. They cut like that's cheap to me. That's cheap to me. Give me a transformation scene, please. Anyway. Collector items, probably. I don't know. I don't have that much. I have movies. I got a ticket to the Metropole and Sally's birthday party invitation. You can't see much of my room anyway. You know, and all my Jason masks are over here. You can't see that. All my autographs are over here. You can't see that. Got some pops right here, the ones that matter. Anyway, what do you think of that movie, Our Wolf with Jack Nicholson?
I've always liked it. I kind of grew up with that one. I think what's his name? James Spader is a lot of fun in that. I like Jack Nicholson's character.
Spader is fun in nearly everything he's in.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a good movie. It's not. I don't think it made my top 10, but it's good.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Never had the urge.
I think it's
Looks
good,
like
man.
I won't be watching anytime soon. It's not streaming anywhere.
I got the Blu-ray.
I'm sure you do. How many werewolf movies do you own?
I don't have a number off the top of my head, but I have quite a bit.
But you've seen 88 different werewolf movies, right?
Yeah.
You have
so far.
Once he gets to 12, he's doing a top 100 for thehorrorsyndicate.com. Make sure you check thehorrorsyndicate.com for his top 75 list. And beware, no Paul Naschy movies.
Not yet. I've seen a couple since then. You know, when I do the top 100, I'm not going to put trailers in the post because it really bogs it down.
Yeah, it does. It also seems like it takes an hour to get to the bottom of the page. Yeah. I was trying to get to the bottom of the page to the search bar on my phone, and it's like all these trailers. Come on, it takes forever. And then you're like, I'm not going to put trailers. Like, smart move.
Yeah.
I tried that for the top 100 years ago. I ended up having to break it up into 4 posts, like the top 100 period, not just werewolf movies or whatever. And I didn't even know there were 100 werewolf movies in anyway. Do you have like a list of the ones you still want to watch?
Yeah.
Are there at least 12?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. I can get to 100, I think. But there's, there's quite a bit too that I've tried to watch that I couldn't get through very far before I turned it off. So,
you sat through Werewolf Castle.
You'd be surprised. Werewolf Castle is a fucking masterpiece in comparison to some of the other ones I've seen or tried to see.
That makes me sad. That movie was awful. It
I
was
have
one of
fun
the
with
most uneven movies I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
One of, not the one of.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think we're gonna end the show for the night. Odd Thomas is a good movie. Check it out. Next week, hopefully, we'll at least have Nathan back for The Howling. We actually pushed The Howling back a week because he said he wanted to talk about it because it's not one he visits very often. And we'll have his segment back, which he's got a new segment now. So I'm not sure if he's going to be doing his original segment and this one, but he's got you got to see this where he talks about movies from the silent era, black and white era, stuff like that. And I'm not sure if he's doing. Do you know? Could you tell if he was going to still do those or not?
I'm not sure. I kind of sound like he was a little
Do you
defeated
think
on
nobody
his.
likes his autopsy of us? I personally like the segment.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, really, we appreciate everyone who watches the show and gives us the likes and shares and all that stuff. But really, this show is for us to talk about horror. And Nathan, as a filmmaker, has got the eye for scenes and likes to break them down. And I thought that was a great idea. Well, he figured something out where we were struggling on figuring out our, like mine. I haven't done questions in weeks because I don't know what to come up with. I was asking you. I was like, hey, do you have any questions? Because I can't think of anything. I want to segmentize the show, but it's hard to do when I don't know what else to fucking say.
I do want to do for the Howling. I would like to do a
best comment ever. Go ahead.
I agree.
Sorry.
For the Howling, I like to do a segment where I talk about the differences between the book and the movie. Maybe even get into a little bit of the sequel books, but
yeah, because the first book is nothing like the movie, right?
It's say the movie is very loosely based on the book. It actually part 4 is closer to the book than part 1, even though it's way crappier quality.
Yeah, that one got a higher score than, what was it, 5, which is a better movie.
I love part 5.
Yeah, 5's good. I don't think people know what they're doing sometimes when they rate our stuff. Like, oh, it's just another Howling movie. Let's give it 1 star. Anyway, yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. Anybody who did, if you got something out of this, I hope you did. Check out Odd Thomas. It's on Prime currently. Next week we will be talking about The Howling. Nathan should be back. Seth will be here, and check out this upcoming Wednesday for I think it goes on too long. I think I need to shorten these intros. With 4 people, whatever, we should, maybe have it as long as it is for Discourse. But anyway, thanks again for joining us. Next week, The Howling. Wednesday, join us at 9 Eastern for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Actually, there's no "the," is there? All right, no. One of them is no "the" in the title. It's fucking, the titles are crazy for that series. What's no? No, that's impossible. Anyway, Seth, have a good night. Everyone out there in Filmland. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Such sights to show you.
Hell yeah.